The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 19th day of April, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, and Lindo's. I'm Jamel Hartman, along with Carla Zul. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. If you're watching online, share the link. If you're on Facebook, start that watch party. If you're on Twitter, retweet it. If you're watching on Channel 82 or listening on the Full 100 radio station, call someone up, let them know we're on. Just get the conversation out there to your network, and don't forget to like and engage with us. Another good one today, as we have Jameka Smith stopping by. We're going to be talking about veganism. Being coming a vegan is really popular right now, and it's not always the healthiest, but the idea behind it is to be more healthy. So we're going to be talking about some fun things with Jameka, her journey as a vegan, some of the recipes that she's been creative enough to come up with, and show you that it's actually not boring like you all think. The Daily Play, well, it's a famous quote. Carla usually starts off the week a bit slow. I'll just say it that much. Well, no, I mean...
Thanks for the disclaimer. It's all right.
I'm just letting the audience know that they have to be ready. They'll be very much involved in what happens at the end of this show during the Daily Play. But we have a lot to get to. By the way, Carla, obviously you live in Manchester, but it's a hell of a lot of stuff going on in European football right now. And just a programming note that I'll be joining Kenny Thompson and Larry Marshall Jr. tonight on Channel 82 and the Full 100 radio station as we discuss what the European Super League, what that means for grassroots football, like how would it impact Bermuda and Bermudians who are trying to get into football, because right now, it seems like a money thing. As I've stated, I don't have enough information to really have a strong opinion either way, but it kind of seems like they are trying to Americanize the world's game. Like football is the only global game there is. So it seems like it's going to be interesting. What I will say is it's been shown that money rules the world. And while a lot of people are maybe opposing this, and I'll discuss this more tonight, it definitely seems like they'll be opposing it until they're saying, look, take 20 pounds or something. You know, money just seems like it's going to be the big thing. JP Morgan looks like they're backing it. So keep your eyes on that. Obviously, the British Prime Minister, I think it's called Prime Minister, Boris Johnson guy, he's had some say in it. So really interesting things happening over there in Europe. But let's begin the show.
Thanks for telling me. I have no idea what you're talking about. Thanks. I'll Google it after.
She's a special one, folks. Sincere condolences. Looks like we have now 19 COVID death-related deaths in Bermuda. So condolences to the family, friends, and also the entire community. Let that not be lost. The entire community. Bermuda lost another person due to a COVID-related death. So definitely sincere condolences to everyone regarding that. There was a lot that has happened over the weekend as it relates to that. And I must apologize to Dr. Flood, who has been on this show. Sometimes when emails come through, I don't always see them, right away. And so weekends, I usually go back and say, why do I have 6 emails? And there was a voice note, 30 minutes. I'm not listening. Look, Carla, tell them the rules for voice notes before we get into this.
If you need to send Jamel Hartman a voice note, you need to send it in 1 minute or less. Like, no lie. I stress over it. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm at a minute 13. I'm sorry, but I couldn't say it all. 1 minute.
Folks, anything over 60 seconds, is a telephone conversation. Simple. Is that simple? Do not send a voice note over 60 seconds, because at that point you're talking to yourself. And I'm very honest. I will make you believe I listen to your voice note. I probably won't listen to your voice note. My mom gets a pass, right? She can't help herself. She gets a pass. But I'm not.
I got one now and then.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I feel bad for you at times, right? But I'm just like, how is anyone sitting there listening to a 30-minute voice note? Okay, cool. Past that. Now, I have to give this example first, too. Remember former Premier Paula Cox, right?
Mm-hmm.
People used to say, she always spoke so elegantly, using big words and so on.
Eloquently.
And I'm just like, well, that don't mean anything to me, because if you can't, communicate in layman, then are you really that smart, right? Well, this is the message to the brother that sends around these long voice notes. If you can't explain it in the most concise manner, ever, then are you really saying anything I can't look up myself? And I go back to the email I received. Everything he said, I had received an email last week. And again, I didn't listen to it. I asked a few friends to break down what's in there. So don't be thinking, oh, he said he don't listen to 30 minutes instead of hell no.
I gave him plays. I got into 10 minutes because I was doing it while I was like washing the dishes or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I got into 10 and I was just like, nah, I tried. 30 minutes? That's a lot.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a matter of whether what he's saying is true or not. It's neither here or there. At the end of the day, everyone has strong opinions. Some people just want to hear themselves in expressing that. And I just feel like the more time you give a person like this, he's legit telling you, oh, make sure you share this around and this and that, da 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 da. Brother, as someone suggested, I forgot who did on Twitter, just call a damn press conference. Just call your own press conference. But don't do 30 minutes. Don't do 30 minutes. Ain't nobody got time for that. And no, you're not welcome on this show to do that either. No, you're not. You're not. Maybe Carla could squeeze you in her 90-second news report, but we're not having it. Again, and this is not to discredit what he said. Honestly, I want to say that. It's not to discredit what he said. It's the way the message is being put forth. All right. You have anything to say about that? Because you heard 10 minutes, Carla. I mean,
I just felt he always drums up the drama around it. Like, oh, and I'm going to tell you this, and let me tell you this. And then it ends up being fruitless. So not fruitless, but baseless almost. So it's just like, just say whatever. So if he's talking about some drug, just talk about that drug. Bang. Like he mentioned one place that, oh, I'm going to tell you about this. And then I listened. That's the only reason why I listened.
Mm-hmm.
And all you said was that they carry it. But I thought he was going to go deeper. So it's almost like he could be a script writer for a show, draw you in and then spit you out.
Yeah, well, he definitely, I mean, if you get to my normal part, 60 seconds, it's like, okay, he hasn't said anything yet. But then there are some people, you've ever walked out of a movie theater or you stick to the whole bad movie? Because
I rarely even go movies. I'm the wrong person to ask.
It's one of those things where, I mean, I don't go movies either, but if the movie is that bad, I'd walk out. And I feel like for me, the way he drums it up, it's not making me want more. It's making me want to say, shut up and just get to the point. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Now, again, regardless of what was said, bro, you got to do a better job. Be more concise. Get to the point. 30 minutes? I mean, you make David Brett seem entertaining.
One of my friends said, don't forget the 35 seconds. It was 30 minutes and 35 seconds, longer than the news.
My, oh my. My, oh my. Okay. Maybe Rocco Don Levrock says, thoughts on marketplace asking seniors allowed to shop on Sundays, but accompanying children cannot enter and should be left outside alone. Well, first off, That's not on Marketplace, is it? I thought that was the rules that they were given, no?
That's where it seems to be a bit fuzzy. But my take on it is this. If I come to your house, Jamal, and you and your wife tell me I must take off my shoes, then I have a choice. I either take off my shoes or I don't come in your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only part of that policy I don't agree with is leaving the child outside. However, I wouldn't leave the child outside because I would know not to bring the child. Now, I'm a single mom because I know some people are going to say, well, what about those that don't have support and blah, 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 blah. I would find a way around that because if that's the rule, that's the rule. My family had an animated talk about it last night. And one prevailing point from one of my cousins was, take all of that out of it. I just wouldn't want to expose my child to COVID.
Oh, this goes
especially because it's spreading.
I'm gonna take a different approach. If that's Marketplace's rules, move on. Why are we so? We live in a time where everyone just wants to be freaking included.
Did you see? Did you listen to it? Because it was longer than a minute. The police got involved.
You know I didn't listen to the whole thing. You told me about the police. Come on, folks. I'm dead serious. 60 seconds is my limit. But no, I didn't listen to the whole thing. But I heard enough to understand that this happened to my sister and my niece, who's 8. And my sister did what? She left and she went to another store. It's that simple. Why are we so? Oh, call the police. I want to get in there. Right? You treat me like that?
That blew my mind.
I'm out. I'm not fighting to. We have got to stop fighting to be in places that don't want us there. Seriously, we've adopted this mentality instead of and Mark used to say it a lot. This Marcus Garvey. If shop someone else, build our own. I'm not. So we gotta stop fighting to be in places we're not wanted. So if that is Marketplace's rule, then you go to another place. Don't be bringing the. Come on now. Now I want to go back to a comment before we get back to this. Well, then you obviously didn't hear what I said. You're saying if the voice note didn't come out, you wouldn't even know. That's not true. Before I even started that, I said that I had received everything that I've told this gentleman spoke about in an email last Wednesday. So if you listen to me, you'll understand that. I don't need to listen to 30 minutes of someone talking to learn anything. None of us should have to. As Mr. Young said, 30 minutes, that's longer than the news. Shucks, I can't find an hour worth of stuff to talk about on this show every day. Why do you think we have so many segments? What's wrong with you people? Anyway, Manuela John says, I can't make myself listen to long voice notes. Make yourself. Shucks, you couldn't promise me a bottle of water, hemp, anything to listen to anything of 60 seconds. Monica Dunstan says, that's definitely an unwritten rule. Nobody likes long voice. What's your limit?
I do. The longest I received from one of my cousins was 14 minutes, right? And I listen to it because I tend to listen to him when I'm washing dishes or whatever, but then I start talking back because I think I'm having a conversation.
So you're crazy.
If it's interesting, I'll listen. But on average, 4 minutes is all right with me.
No, but you said you start talking back to the voice note while it's talking.
Oh, yes, because I think I'm having a conversation because it's so long. But I enjoy voice notes. They keep me still.
That's my point. Just pick up the phone. And honestly, here's the truth. Here's the truth.
You know I'm original.
This someone said to me, sent a message to the show a couple weeks ago and said, man, I'm so glad you guys don't take phone calls, right? And let me tell you, that 30-second voice note is a reason we don't.
30 minute?
I mean, yeah, 30 minutes. Shucks, I'm saying 30 seconds. That's what I wish it was. But yeah, Carla, it's interesting time. Big shout out. So yesterday, I want to tell you guys the story real quickly. So my mother-in-law had a birthday yesterday and had her friends over. Older folks. I'm not gonna say elderly, but they're 80-somethings. And I made a run to the liquor store for them, get some Baileys. They sip on that. And I found myself in the kitchen, being the kitchen porter. What are you laughing at?
Because that's so sweet. I think that is so cute.
It was so unplanned, but I couldn't get away because every time someone stopped eating, I was picking up a plate and whatnot. And all I was saying to myself is, Jamal, don't drop one of these plates trying to be helpful. And by the end of it, They all had a great time, and they were trying to teach me patois because they were all Jamaican, right? And they were trying to teach me patois. And a certain person took video of me trying to learn some patois.
Oh, please tell me you have it. You can play it.
I think that person shared some things, but they one of the aunts gave me some learning stuff to learn patois, to speak Jamaican patois, right? And apparently I was pronouncing patois wrong as well. I think I might still be doing that.
It's such a nerd.
No, I'm trying to look for it so I can tell you guys what it was. Here it is.
Wow, Aguad.
When I look panya and you're free to eat it. Yeah. How'd I do?
Say it again. I know what you said, but say it again.
When Aki look panya and you're free to eat it.
When Aki look something, eat it.
So here's the picture.
It's Aki.
And
when Aki look panya and with
and you're free to eat it, right? So anyway, one the aunt sent me that. So I'm learning some Jamaican patois, folks. I'm learning some Jamaican patois. So don't worry about me if I come here and say, well, go on, Regins. Yeah. See? Easy me Regin. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Right. He's such a pick-me.
Yeah. So look, I'm getting somewhere with this. We have Jameka Smith coming up. We're going to be talking about veganism. So don't go anywhere. We want to have this conversation. Let's go through some comments before we go to the news break. We have quite a lot. We appreciate you all. Ellen Young says, yes, shop elsewhere. Thank you, Carla. Bobby Singh says, shop elsewhere or shop online. Baby Rocco Don Levrock says, exactly. Jamal Wild Thing says, economic power. Sonia Clark, exactly. Stacy Grant says, build your own. And then Carlita Davis says, listen, as a senior, you have 3 days. Plan or go to another shop. Yeah, I'm not, honestly, I don't know who the senior was, but nah, we've got to stop this, man. Like, seriously, we got to do better, folks. Like, I just want us to adopt an attitude and a way of thinking. Like, if they don't want to play with us, they don't want us play with their ball for whatever reason, then you know what? We get our own ball and we play. We've moved into a space that I just don't. Yeah. Quentin Stavo, Carla.
Jamal, you touched on a fundamental economic and cultural touchstone. People should never beg someone to take your money if they have no regard for you. It illustrates a lack of self-worth. Take your money elsewhere or do without.
Yeah, and you said called the police, caller? Nah, man.
I think she's actually, the police were outside and she flagged them down, but either way, she alerted the police. I just thought that was extra. I was just like, really? Really?
If Marketplace has rules, and this is something that I learned young, right? I remember it was a certain club restaurant in Bermuda. I was a teenager. And they said they had a dress code. Couldn't go in if you were dressed a certain way. Remember those days? Couldn't wear baggy shirts, whatever. But yet tourists would come, flip-flops, baggy shirts, whatever, and they'll let them in. You know me, I'm like, oh, that's discrimination, blah, blah. Then I'm learning. I'm like, actually, this is a private establishment. As you gave the example earlier, it's like telling someone you don't want people wearing shoes in your house, right? And then they come anyway. And they're like, well, how you not letting me in? Well, I told you no shoes. It's no different. So, folks, sometimes it's not what you're trying to make it out to be. Certain places just have rules. Cool. Crystal Lynn L says, no way you embarrass. Yeah, I did embarrass you all. Trust me. I just hope that video doesn't surface anytime soon. I'm going to come back strong with some patois. Carla's going to give us the news break. Then we're going to take a commercial break. And you don't want to miss a good episode. Folks, let's have a conversation about a vegan journey. We're going to be talking about being vegan. We're going to have some fun stuff. So by the end of this, Carla is not even going to want that steak she's dreaming about for tonight's dinner. Carla, take it over.
Despite her hurt and disappointment that someone chose to vandalize and burgle her store during the early hours of Sunday morning, veteran retailer Sharon Bartram of 27th Century Boutique says instead of dwelling on the negative, she is looking at the situation in perspective. The culprits smashed the glass doors to her business, stealing several pairs of jeans. While they have since been recovered, as of last night, the perpetrator has not been apprehended. Speaking to me last night, Mrs. Bartram said, It's unfortunate, but there are people worse off than me right now. I will get over it. Look at what the people in St. Vincent are going through. In this pandemic, people are hurting, and unfortunately, I am now one of them too, but I am fine. Mrs. Bartram, who founded 27th Century almost 46 years ago with her late husband Kirk, says she was overwhelmed by the kindness of members of the community who reached out to her to make sure that she was okay. She said, people came by and helped me clean up as well. I am thankful to everyone. Mrs. Bartram says the incident hasn't dampened her spirits, and she is looking forward to reopening fully when COVID regulations allow. Roses are red, violets are blue. Jamel Hartman seems grumpy, but he's still my boo. Poetry and Creative Mind Day is a great time to dig up some of your favorite Earl poems and read them or sing a favorite Earl nursery rhyme. If your talents lean more towards the physical mediums, you can take out your paints or pencils and any other form of art you enjoy. If you've never been the creative sort, Poetry and Creative Mind Day is a great day to pick up one of those opportunities. There are so many great ways to celebrate it, including memorizing Earl poems, or like me, I wrote my own. If you're the adventurous sort, you can leave poetry in creative places today. Turning to weather, the temperature in Bermuda is expected to reach a high of 73. Newark, New Jersey will see a high of 65, and London, UK, a high of 60. That's your Daily Hour news break.
You know what's crazy is Miriam Simmons says, beautiful poem.
I lost my composure. I'm so sorry.
You know, I'm not gonna say stick to your day job. It was a good poem, but you know, I own my grumpiness. I'm not running from who I am, folks. I'm wearing a collar. You know, they call me Grumpy Cat, all these names, whatever. But I love you all, despite what you may think of. I love you all, despite what you think of.
Thank you, Miriam.
On the 27th Century front, very sad news, and you know, no words really. When I say build our own, I don't mean steal or take from our own, right? We've got to do better as a community. We've got to do better. So, you know, heart goes out to Ms. Bartram and everyone at 27th Century. And real quickly, we didn't do trivia. So I'll let you, the winner from this weekend's trivia, the question was, and I know Bobby Singh was playing with us, which of the Daily Hour hosts has not been to an Eastern County game? And I think everyone pretty much got it right.
Rude people.
I'll let you know who the winner was. This week's winner will be getting a mug, a Daily Hour mug, which I can't find today. I think you know, the party yesterday, they may have, you know, picked up a copy and ran with it. But no, I'll let you know who the winner is. They'll get a Daily Hour mug and also a 25 gift voucher, I believe, to One Communications or People. So I'll let you know by the end of this show. And a happy birthday. I'm not going to say how many numbers, right? To my mother-in-law, celebrating today. Had a big party yesterday.
Happy birthday.
I got to enjoy it too. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. But remember, grumpy or not, I love you all. All right? We'll be right back. Not Carla.
Hi, I'm Karen, a nurse at the old folks home. These long hours used to kill my feet until my hairdresser told me about a great place to buy a pair of clogs. Medical House. Finally, relief. They also carry uniforms in bright, bold colors. And not to mention the support stocking.
Karen, Miss Soltis bet her bet again.
Oh gosh, these days, I need all the support I can get.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke.
There was a time when sea vegetables were considered exotic by most, and then along came sushi consisting in raw fish with rice and sea vegetables, notably seaweed and porpora. The folks at Gimme Health Foods know that sea vegetables are fat-free, low in calories, and one of the richest mineral sources in the vegetable kingdom, as they flourish surrounded by the mineral-rich ocean. And that roasted seaweed is a real good eats. Could this be the ideal snack? We're featuring Gimme Health organic sea salt and avocado and sesame seaweed snacks. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
All right, welcome back to the big show. She's Carla Zul. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour. Yeah, she's a poet too, folks. Brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindos, and our friends over at Channel 82. Don't forget, you can watch this show streaming on Channel 82's Facebook and YouTube pages if you know how to stream. All right. A lot of locally produced programs and shows inclusive of this. And don't forget, I'll be on Channel 82 live tonight with Kenny Thompson, Larry Marshall Jr. discussing the fallout in European football. But we are the Daily Hour, and it is morning, and we are going to bring in Jameka Smith, and we're talking about, I don't know if it's a word yet, but it will be in Webster Dictionary or Merriam, whichever one you choose to look in. Veganism. We're going to call it a word on this show. Jameka, welcome to the show.
Morning. Thank you.
Well, first off, is veganism a word?
Yes.
Okay. Look, no, hold on. Let me tell you something.
Where do you find your friends, Jameka?
Can I explain? Can I explain myself? So when I write veganism, right, I'm dealing with Bill Gates and his crew, and Bill Gates and his crew do not accept it as a word because they put that little red, that red line when you write something wrong. They give me that red line, so I'm like, well, hold on, how am I wrong? But then if I Google it, it comes up as something. So thank you for clarifying that. The U.S., the American Bill Gates version is always, it's the New English, so it's a bit behind. So that's what we're going to go with?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's what we'll go with. No, I had to explain because you were making me seem like I was on the slower bus, but we're not going to go there. Jameka, thank you for doing this because we talk about wellness and dieting and food a lot. And first off, you weren't born into vegan. You weren't a vegan growing up, right?
No. Growing up, had the traditional Bermuda diet only until 2017 when I was living in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And then at that time, that movie, What the Health, was out. Saw that movie. It was also that movie, Forks Over Knives. And those movies, I would recommend anybody watch those movies. It really made the case for changing from a animal consumption diet to a plant-based diet. And from there, it was just like cold turkey. I just stopped. And at that time, I was living in Philadelphia with my spouse and our 3-year-old son at that time. And it was just cold turkey for all of us, just stopped. And just all plant-based diet from then on. So 4 years now, we've been vegan. And with vegan diet, you really have to be cautious with like iron deficiency and B12. But I take a daily supplement, and I also take a B complex vitamin. But I would definitely recommend anybody to speak with your general practitioner before you do a drastic diet change. You just want to make sure you're getting all your nutrients and your vitamins.
Indeed. So talk to us about what was your diet like? I know you said Bermudian diet, and I think when LaToya Bridgewater was on, she pretty much quoted what it was, our slave diet, right? What was your diet like? Like, were you, because we've known each other pretty much, I mean, I don't want to age us, we're not as old as Carla, but a long time, right? And I'm sorry, I can't help it. I have a problem. Speak to us about what your diet was like regular, because you say you went cold turkey, but you weren't like every day like me, chips and French fries. Like what was your diet like prior, and how hard was it to make that transition? Because you say you went cold turkey. Yeah. My wife says that I'm that kind of person that just goes cold turkey. I stopped eating cheese like that quickly. I haven't eaten beef or pork since the 90s. And people think I have that ability when I stopped drinking. I don't think I have to set my mind first, but what was it? Because veganism's hard, man. Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, when I say Bermuda traditional diet, like lots of carbs, like at any Bermuda dinner, you're gonna get at least 4 carbs: rice, macaroni, chicken, fish, scalloped potatoes, like everything. But I wasn't really a real burger type person. Most meats that I would have eaten were chicken and fish. And when I was living in Philadelphia at the time, we would eat a lot of salmon and chicken. Not too much fast food, but yeah. So I don't really miss much of the animal consumption, eggs, dairy. Yeah, I don't really miss much of that diet, and it's been 4 years. So yeah.
Congratulations. That's huge. Speak to us. How do you feel your life has changed and have like your health improved? Have you felt like a difference since you've been like, because I'll use alcohol. That's the easy one. I don't wake up with a hangover anymore. Right. That's easy. Right. But how do you actually feel the difference in like going for a walk or just waking up less tired, anything from how you've changed your diet?
Yeah, I'll share that I was actually anemic for a good few years. But once I became vegan and I have my regular doctor's appointment, my anemia is gone. So my iron's strong. And actually, when you eat a vegan diet, you feel nourished. It's not like you feel overly full or bloated. It's like you really feel like you've taken into your body nourishment and foods that's really gonna just really be a benefit to your system, your digestive system. Yeah.
Now, Jameka, you said that the movie or the movies help to shift you as such. Some people go from carnivore to vegetarianism to veganism. Did you just jump, or did you do the veganism? And I'm sorry, were you vegetarian and then transitioned into veganism?
No, like I said, it was just that day. It was just stop, and because we was in the U.S., you get access to, it was a lot of vegan restaurants, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, so it was easy to do it. I would say in the U.S. Because it was access to vegan, and we did non-GMO and also organic. There was a lot of access to that, so it was pretty easy to do it. Cold turkey.
Wow. My youngest son, he has decided, well, most days he doesn't like meat. And we thought it was so bizarre. And he didn't see any movie. He was just like, I don't want to eat meat. He really drinks milk. And I'm like, don't you miss this taste as such? So to hear you say you went from one straight into the other, I think is phenomenal, because I try, but then I smell bacon or something. And I'm like,
you try what?
I do try, like, I'm a hypocrite. Jameka, don't laugh at me. I would go to Supermart, for example, and I'd get the vegetarian meatloaf. I love it. It's plant-based, but then I'll have pork chops on my as a side.
Well, you know what? And that's okay. That's okay, Carla. That's okay.
But I do like vegetarian and vegan foods, but it's just I don't do the whole thing. So I'm like, well, I'm trying it. So I admire what you've done, because I think that's such a massive leap. But some people think,
Carla, but hold on. What you're saying is important though, because I think it's not about the food though. It's really about training the mind. Like I see people in the comments talking about, I could never give up bacon. Folks, this is me. I stopped eating bacon as a teenager simply because my uncle didn't eat it. And I used to want to be like my uncle. Now I hear he loves a piece of bacon, right?
He tricked you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But saying that to say, when people say like they like the smell of it, I'm like, it stinks. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, how does that smell nice? I mean, I think bacon is probably the most sickening smell there is, but that's just me. But I think to Carla's point, it really is a mindset thing more than anything. Like it's really a mind thing. Like you literally have to train your mind more than anything, because I think Tamara Richardson mentioned it when she was on her about, our bodies wanting, more of what it's used to. So I don't know. It's not something to be judged about, Carla. Like you're human. Like that's a human reaction.
But I laugh every time I used to giggle every time I do it, because people are like, oh, you like vegetarian food? I'm like, I love it. And then I'd slap on the pork chop. It's like, sorry. Hypocrisy.
Not for real. Look, you're versatile, Carla. You're versatile.
But Jameka, some people do think that being a vegan means just eating salads and rabbit food. But speak to us about some of the fun dishes that you make.
Yeah, so just this past holiday, Good Friday, I did vegan hot cross buns. I did vegan fish cakes, and I just used a chickpea base with some kelp seasoning and other seasonings just to give it that that fishy type taste. I've done Johnny bread, vegan Johnny bread, cassava pie, basically anything that's an animal-based food. You can switch it out for vegan, and I'm always online typing in any type of recipe, but then I'll just put easy vegan because I like a little easy recipe. Mac and cheese, a lot of soul food that I cook for my family. Pumpkin pie, apple pie, sweet potato pie. We eat a lot of chickpea, a lot of lentils, a lot of beans. Got to make sure you get that protein and iron. Lots of vegetables, lots of greens, chilies. Just basically anything that you can think of can be veganized.
This is so cool. Like, I'm sorry. Like this is. Go ahead.
No,
Carla.
you talked about when you did, because like with the mama hat on, you talked about your transition and you talked about your son at the time being 3 or 4. Now, granted, you were still small, but children like what they like as such. Was it difficult for him to transition? Because certain things I know, like with gelatin, for example, right? Was it hard for him to understand that the diet was changing so you couldn't necessarily have that whatever that was anymore?
Right. No, it wasn't that hard at all for him. Like I said, we wasn't that type of family that ate a lot of fast food and burgers. The only meats we really ate was chicken and salmon. And he wasn't really into that much of like a meat-based diet at that age. So when we all just cold turkeyed it, like I said, we had access to so much organic, non-GMO, whole foods that it was easy to just just switch his diet as well as ours. But again, as how we was going, making sure that our B12s, our irons, all our levels were, healthy levels. You have to do the same for your child if you have young children that are going to be vegan as well. Just making sure all their vitamin and nutrient levels, are where they should be. But with kids, it's not that hard. You just make it creative, and he just pretty much eats whatever we eat now.
But also to that point, I just want to jump in there on Carla, is I learned this from my wife's cousin. Children only want what you give them. If they don't have enough head stuff, like if you don't, like we went to a restaurant, her children only wanted broccoli and vegetables. And you kind of ask them, well, why? A lot of children want French fries. Well, they don't seek what they don't know about. You know what I'm saying? So if your children are eating certain foods from young, then that's what they're gonna want. Not necessarily because other children have it, but that's what their diets, that's what their bodies, that's what they're telling themselves they want.
One thing I have learned is the magic of the chickpea. I never ate them until maybe 6 months ago because I was looking for different things for my son, and I've learned so many ways to use a chickpea, and I love it. So being vegan doesn't necessarily mean being healthy, as we know French fries are vegan, beer is vegan.
Yep.
Oreos.
Bring on the vegan. I actually learned that from my friend who's a vegan. She said the only cookie that she can really eat from the shop is an Oreo. So Oreos are vegan.
Pull up Biscoff. Don't forget the Biscoff.
Yes.
They're vegan as well.
Oh yes.
Look at that. I'm a little ahead more than I thought.
Was it you that told me about that? Because I'd be smashing those things, boy. If you don't know, those are the airline cookies. What's I call it?
Yes, red and white cookies. But what would you say to someone who has to convert due to health reasons? What advice would you share? Now I know you talked about the multivitamins, but what advice would you give them if they wanted to transition?
Like I said earlier, I would definitely speak to your general practitioner, because if you have pre-existing conditions, you want to make sure that your change of diet is not going to compromise your pre-existing condition. But since going vegan, like I said, I'm no longer anemic. I had another health condition that's since basically been removed from my body. I've heard people go vegan that their blood pressures come down, their cholesterol levels have come down. Some vegans make the case for removal of diabetes. I've even heard cancer. So it has its benefits, but I would definitely say speak to your doctor before drastically changing your diet.
Indeed. I want to go to the audience. We have, I didn't realize this would be so popular, but Sean Smith asks, what did you substitute for milk? I think there was a preceding question. Was your child drinking milk at this time? If so, what did you substitute for milk?
I have never been a big milk drinker. Most of my milk, even before I was vegan, was like almond milk. But since just probably the last 2 years, I've been drinking a lot of hemp milk. My son was drinking almond milk or cashew milk.
Michelle White says, I am told never mess with fish cakes and buns. Just how do you make it vegan? Please give us a sample recipe to explain how easy to adjust. I just kind of, and folks, honestly, just share your Instagram with them, because I go under and I'm just like, yo, like she's really creative. I think someone else mentioned in here about chocolate chip cookies. Your chocolate chip cookies are banging. Crescenti Waldron says, my nana thought they were the original recipe. Couldn't even grab my stash back. And these, let's be honest, this is comfort vegan food. This is not necessarily the healthy stuff. And I think Miss Dr. Pierman may have said that vegan, and Carla just asked it in that question as she stated, vegan doesn't necessarily mean healthy. So this is comfort. Here's Dr. Pierman saying vegan doesn't necessarily mean healthy, but speak to just repeat earlier what you said for the fish cake and buns thing for Michelle White.
Yeah, with the buns, you just you're substituting, I believe it's egg in that recipe. So with that, I had substituted the egg with it's called a flax egg, which is basically flaxseed meal mixed with water, and it just provides like a binding for the buns. With the fish cakes, it was chickpea blended, food processed, and the same other additions that you get with a fish cake, onions, parsley, and like I said, to give it that fishy taste, I use kelp seasoning, that Bragg's kelp seasoning, and just a lot of other seasonings, and you just bind it up like a fish cake and fry it.
I'm smiling, but I'm giggling.
This real quickly. This is the comment of the day.
Charles I'm like, my boy.
I put bacon on a Beyond Burger. I mean, this is why Carla believes the vegetarian meatloaf, right? I think she said meatloaf, and the pork chop goes together, right? Charles, man, you are crazy. You are crazy. Go ahead, Carla.
You talking about your fish cake, Jameka, made me smile, because I have a cousin who's vegan, and she did a recipe for Shehab, and she did vegan fish cakes, and the recipe was hit over 4,000 times, but it was from critics, people saying, oh my gosh, how could you do this to a fish cake? It's not right. You can't have vegetarian and fish cake and vegan and fish cake. But no, everywhere you go, how do you feel as a diner, even, that everywhere you go now, there are so many vegan options? Before, they were very hard to come by. And now, I mean, you see vegan food trucks and all of that. How do you feel as a vegan that people have now opened up their minds to creating all of these wonderful options?
Yeah, more people embracing it.
Yeah, because when I first went, it wasn't, like I said, I was in the US, so it was a lot of access. Since coming back to Bermuda, it wasn't, we couldn't go out to eat, because restaurants, they would try to accommodate, but we didn't want to trust that, something that wasn't vegan was added in. So it was limited options for dining out. But now it's almost like it's becoming, people's more inclined to do vegan or to change to vegan. So you see a lot of the food trucks, restaurants are adding vegan menus, options to the menu. So it's becoming a thing, which is good.
Now, you talked about mindset, right? So for people considering veganism, what are some ways? I mean, you said that you just switched, right? And it is a mindset thing. What are some ways that people can prepare themselves to help make, and what can they do while they're making the transition to make it easier for those who don't want to pause in between and just go from one to the other?
Yeah, because I see a lot of people doing like meatless Monday, but if people can just do more than one day a week with a vegan diet, that might help with the weaning process. But like I said, I'm always online typing in, just trying different recipes, but putting, veganizing them. So I would just recommend anybody just take a animal-based recipe and type it in and just put vegan and just see how, what's being substituted and give it a try.
let's go to the audience. A lot of comments coming through. But Baby Rocco Dawn Levrock says, "Isn't the lady Tabitha Brown a YouTuber that does vegan recipes?" Yep, she sure is. And
oh, that's so good.
honestly, she makes it fun. She is a fun one. Don't worry, Jameka's gonna be that very soon, right? Because if you check on Instagram, folks, what's your Instagram, Jameka?
Jamstar, is it _11?
You know you're big when you can't even remember what your Instagram is, right? Off the chain, Sonia Clark says, Teresa Stewart asked, the biggest cue is how many local restaurants actually practice the separation of plant-based and animal-based meals. What's the difference?
Yeah, that's why we don't really dine out that much, because it's like you just can't really trust that restaurants that what they're cooking the fries in. Are they also putting the chicken nuggets? Like you just can't trust the cross contamination of meats, and so we don't dine out. Not here.
Okay. Nicholas Butterfield asks, what is your favorite vegan meal to make?
Lentil bolognese. We eat a lot of lentil, but lentil bolognese, I would say, is like the favorite. It's like spaghetti with the lentils are almost like the meat of it all, but you have to really season it up. But that's like a favorite.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Jameka, about jackfruit, because I have a friend that does vegan cooking and she's always doing jackfruit, and everyone says that it tastes like meat or has a texture. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I tried jackfruit maybe twice. I just didn't like the texture, but I do see people doing, like using that, like very versatile with frying it and just different recipes, but I haven't really used it that much.
Remember I sent you that picture a couple of jerk. So I went to a Jamaican joint and got jackfruit and vegan lobster roll, right? And here was my issue, and Jameka, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I told you they went overboard with the sodium, and like they tried to overcompensate. Like, so the lobster roll, it was too much Old Bay, that's what it's called, the Old Bay
seasoning.
And then I don't know what it was, but it was just so salty. I could not enjoy it. And so I think when you go to certain places for comfort vegan food, some people try to make it taste like the real thing so bad that they overdo it. That's the challenge. But it's healthy ways to do it. I think the transition's important, but one of the most important things that Jameka said today that I think everyone should consider is make sure you speak to your doctor first. Like, I'll never forget when I used to fast, and I would always go to my doctor around that time, and they would tell me, make sure you're putting the protein, make sure you're doing this for your protein. That's when I first had to start taking B12 regularly, right? Because again, French fries and beer. Yes, I have my non-alcoholic beer and French fries pretty regularly. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I love seafood, and Chick-fil-A is the devil. It's Chick-fil-A loves me. You know what I'm saying? So it's been difficult for me to go there, but I know my mind. Like, if I wanted to give it up, it could happen like that. I'm probably just not in that space right now. And then, it can affect relationships and so on. So it's a challenge. But I always say to people, as Dr. Amani Flood said, we've got to allow people to make their own decisions. We can't be critical of people who choose to eat meat, nor should we be critical of people who choose not to. Soon as someone says, oh, I no longer eat dairy or beef or pork, people want to be like, oh, you're eating that fake made up food or whatnot. And well, hold up. Most of the old food is fake and made up today, whether you're using, comfort vegan food or traditional entrees, right? Unless you're eating directly from your garden, is it really, natural? That's the real. Unless you're planting, growing, and picking it from your garden yourself, it's going through some sort of process, correct? So I think we just need to be honest with and not be so critical. Like, let people do what they believe in their best interest for themselves.
Well, I'm happy to say on May 1st, a friend of mine's invited me to a vegan, everything's going to be vegan. And she was like, will you come and try everything and just be open-minded? And I'm like, yeah, because I actually would like to be vegan, but I also like certain things. So it is a mind shift thing for me, but I'm already getting prepared to know that everything I eat's a bean or lentil. So I'm ready for it.
Beans and lentils. We have a lot of comments coming in for you, Jameka. And folks, if you have any questions or comments, I'll try to get through as many as possible. You know, we have to take our break and so on. But Rosalind Famous says jackfruit equals breadfruit. It's a superfood. Michelle White says, I made spaghetti sauce with hamburger and put all kinds of veggies in it. I guess that's Charles, Michelle, you old man. I tell you, I want to go to this comment right here. I have to. Usually I would, pass on by, but I'm gonna touch on this. The Bible says it's not what goes in the body. What's that? Defiles?
That defiles. Mm.
I think is missing something in between there. But
probably.
What comes out of your mouth, because your body separates and sends waste to the bathroom. Pray over your food and you'll be cool. That's my story. So in that case, I'm going to take what he's saying, the Bible. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into horse country today, order me a horse, get it chopped up, cook it up, pray over it, and I should be cool as long as that waste comes out in the bathroom. How's that? Come on, don't give me this, bro. No disrespect, but at the end of the day, you're basically saying, eat whatever the heck's on earth, whatever's out there, and it'll come out. And as long as we pray over it, we'll be cool. Let me get a chunk out of Carla in that case. Come on, man. Don't be so ridiculous.
I got a lot of pounds to waste. You can have one.
Sonia Clark, Carla, I agree. The vegan diet gives us meat eaters more options. So Carla John basically said, you all can go vegan, more bacon for me. So, I mean, look, she's right. You go vegan, you leaving more bacon for us. She says it here. I love that so many people are going plant-based, more bacon for me. So some people see the positives. Kelly KM Smith says, I did 8 weeks as a vegan and I lost some weight also, but then fell back into junk eating. I like the meat variety. And that's something that I do after I fast. I do the Daniel fast and I do well. And then I Chick-fil-A, that evil best friend just hits me up, says, Jamal. And I'm weak and I just go for it. And so you all know what I mean. You feel me? I mean, do they have Chick-fil-A in the UK, Carla?
Apparently there's one in London, but no, they have something else, slim chickens. Mm. So that's like the equivalent and it's the devil. I respect a vegan. Seriously, and all jokes aside, I do respect it, and I would love to do it. And I think one day I will. I just don't know when that day is coming, but I'll still keep trying stuff, and hopefully I'll be able to say, I really don't need that meat, because I do think vegan food looks so pretty. But that means I have to like avocado.
Got another cousin here. Crystal Lynn Al says Chick-fil-A loves me too. Yeah, we family. Yeah, we're family. All right, look, check it out, Jameka. Thank you so much. Just leave us with one thing. People that are thinking about going vegan, right? They want to make that transition. Just tell them again, because I don't want to say it. Just tell them again the most important thing you said today about that consideration.
Yeah, like I said, consult your doctor, but I would definitely make the case that eating a plant-based vegan diet, you really feel nourished. It's your body's almost asking for those whole foods, those vegetables, those beans. It's no bloating. It's you really feel nourished. For some people, you lose weight. For some people, health ailments are removed from your body. But I would just say give it a try once a week, twice a week, and make it happen.
All right. Jameka Smith, thank you so much for doing this. I remember Tabitha Brown. Is her name Tabitha Brown? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she said that what happened was the doctors couldn't tell her what was wrong, and then she just changed her diet, and basically she felt better. So Jameka, thank you so much for doing this, especially on such short notice. We're tight, so I always look to you for inspiration. Every time I find something new vegan, I ask, pretty much say, do you approve? I don't say do you approve, but I'm like, hey, I got this vegan burger from BurgerFi the other day. I'm going to send it to you in a second. It was delicious. I'm going to send it to you after this show, see what your thoughts are, see if you can make something similar. But thanks for doing this, and look forward to having you back again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
We're going to take a quick break. Thanks again to Jameka. Folks, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you smash a like, give us a like, love, even if you found something that Carla said, because I'm the grumpy one, funny. Please give us a laugh, but make sure you give us some love. Show us some love. If you haven't already, like, follow, subscribe, engage. We're going to come back. I'm going to give you the winner for this past weekend's trivia. Which one of the Daily Hour hosts has never been to a Connie game? You all know who it is. Act like you know.
Who is it?
Don't let being a woman limit you. I was raised by a man that said you could, look, we fixed our own bikes, I could tile. And my dad said this, my dad did not even finish high school, but he also said this, if you can read and follow instructions, you can do anything.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to One Communications, Linda's, BEDC, Medical House, Channel 82, everyone who continues to support what we do, of course, the audience as well. So the question this weekend, trivia question, was which one of the Daily Hour hosts has never been to a Connie game? And I'm not going to show the clip because it was just embarrassing when it happened, but you can go to our website and see it. But the answer was... What are you laughing at, Carl?
Because it's just funny to me. There, people got it wrong. Some people got it wrong. I thought that was hilarious.
I was pretty shocked. Well, it's not me because, I mean, like I said, my aunt used to take me from a pup. I would be at those games from 6 a.m. To 10 p.m. at night, and the games were probably like 10 to 7. So I was at every Eastern Connie game you can name throughout my childhood. Of course, you know, Jackie is the wildest one of the bunch, so you know it's not Jackie. So that leaves one person, folks. The answer is Carla, the Poet Zool.
You know how many people have said, when you come home, I'm taking you to a Connie game. So I will definitely be breaking it this summer. Go, Ellen.
All right. So Carla will be at a Connie game if, well, I'm not going to blame it on the government if it happens. So the winner would be James Birch. James Birch wins this week's prize. Well, in fairness to James Birch, he says the answer is A, and I haven't been either. So, yeah.
We go together, James. We go together.
Yeah, you can take Carla. So James Birch will get the Daily Hour mug and also a $25 gift voucher to One Communications. So James Birch is this week's winner. The Daily Play, Carla, we have a question for you. Here's the quote. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Who said it?
I know that one. Urgh. Michelle Obama? No, what's today?
Way off.
Way off. I know this one, but I just can't remember. Maya Angelou?
Way off.
So it's a man.
I'll give you a hint. We actually made similar comments when fighting conscription in Bermuda.
So Dr. Martin Luther King?
This person was very much known when they passed away. They were known for standing up against the draft as they were for their career.
I can't remember, but I would say Julian Hole.
They were not Bermudian. Quote, service to others is the rent you pay for room here on earth. Does anyone know?
Oh, yes. The boxer, Muhammad Ali.
It was Muhammad Ali who said it. Yes, you are correct. No prize for you today, Carla. I mean, it's like took you like 10 minutes. So,
I know.
Yes. Muhammad Ali, you got some inspiration for us?
I do. There are two ways of spreading light: to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. Edith Wharton.
I like that one. Any final words on today's episode?
Awesome. And I definitely will be trying veganism, but also got this real quick, Jamal, sending condolences to the DeGraff family, their matriarch, Nana DeGraff, as she's well known. She passed away. She's the mother of Neil and the owner of Birdie. She was 100 years old. So our deepest condolences to the DeGraff family.
Yes,
condolences to the
DeGraff family. Also condolences to the latest COVID deaths as well in Bermuda. Thanks again to Jameka Smith for doing this today. Really enjoyed the conversation. Don't forget, we have quite the lineup. We have the wife of Premier David Burt, Kristen Burt, in the house tomorrow. So make sure you tune into that. Looking forward to that conversation very much so. On that note, folks, we're going to have to let you go. I know. So thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, and Lindo's, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you. We love you. And we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Carla Zul. I'm Jamel Hartman. Make it a great day. Peace.